It was the most important place of learning in the ancient world, and we don't know where it was or where it is now. We don't know what it looked like. We don't know the details of what books did it have. We don't know everybody who was there. There's more that we don't know than we do know, yet it was the most important event, perhaps, in the intellectual history of man.
Imagine stumbling upon a secret library hidden beneath a centuries-old monastery, filled with forgotten books and knowledge from a lost era. This incredible discovery could unlock mysteries hidden for hundreds of years, waiting to change everything we know about history. The secret library of Sakya Monastery. Hidden behind a massive wall in the ancient Sakya Monastery in Tibet is a library that holds a treasure trove of lost knowledge. This incredible discovery has sparked fascination worldwide, as the library contains 84,000 manuscripts hidden away for centuries. These manuscripts cover everything from Buddhist philosophy to ancient history and even lost technologies. The secret library offers a glimpse into the past, revealing a wealth of wisdom sealed off for over 1,000 years. The Sakya Monastery, located in Tibet's Shigatse region, is one of Tibetan Buddhism's oldest and most respected religious sites. Founded in the 11th century, it has been a center for spiritual learning, meditation, and guidance for centuries. While the monastery is known for its sacred teachings and stunning architecture, it wasn't until recently that the world learned of its hidden library behind an enormous wall. This wall, measuring 60 meters long and 10 meters high, had kept the library and its contents secret for unknown reasons. Scholars found 84,000 manuscripts, some believed to be over 1,000 years old. These texts cover a wide range of subjects, from Buddhist teachings to astronomy, medicine, and even the history of humankind. What's particularly intriguing is the possibility that these manuscripts contain alternative versions of human history, stories and knowledge that may have been lost or suppressed over time. The discovery hints at lost civilizations, forgotten technologies, and ancient philosophies that could change how we view the world today. The manuscript's spiritual value is just as significant. As the heart of the Sakya school of Tibetan Buddhism, the monastery has long been where monks preserve sacred teachings. The hidden library holds manuscripts that guide spiritual practice and serve as a bridge to the past. They carry the wisdom of Tibetan monks who, for centuries, have passed these teachings down from generation to generation. The reasons why the library was sealed off remain a mystery. Some believe it was to protect the knowledge from invaders, while others think it was to preserve its sanctity. Regardless of why it was hidden, the library's discovery opens a new chapter in understanding Tibet's rich cultural and spiritual heritage. As scholars continue to study these manuscripts, they uncover secrets that could reshape our understanding of history, culture, and spirituality. Sakya Monastery's hidden library is truly a priceless treasure that will inspire curiosity and awe for generations to come. If you're amazed by this hidden library, don't forget to like and subscribe for more incredible discoveries like this one. Library at St. Catherine's Monastery. St. Catherine's Monastery, tucked beneath the towering Mount Sinai, is home to one of the world's oldest and most important libraries. For centuries, it has kept thousands of ancient manuscripts and books, some of which hold hidden treasures, texts that were lost and forgotten for centuries. A team of researchers is now using cutting-edge technology to uncover the secrets of these hidden texts. Many of the manuscripts were reused by monks who lived at the monastery in the past. When supplies ran low, the monks would write over older parchments, creating palimpsests, manuscripts with multiple layers of writing. At St. Catherine's, there are around 130 palimpsests, and the goal is to reveal what's hidden beneath the surface. To uncover the original texts, researchers took thousands of photographs of the pages using different colored lights, shining light from different angles or from behind the pages. This helped bring out tiny bumps and depressions in the parchment, revealing the original writing. The images were then analyzed using computer algorithms that could separate the old writing from the newer text on top. Since 2011, researchers have studied 74 palimpsests, totaling 6,800 pages. Their findings have been incredible. The newly revealed texts are long-lost Greek poems, and even the oldest known recipe attributed to the famous Greek physician Hippocrates. But these discoveries are even more exciting because the texts written in languages almost disappear from history. One of the most fascinating finds was writing in Caucasian Albanian, a language once spoken by Christians in what is now Azerbaijan. This language is almost extinct, surviving only in a few stone inscriptions. Thanks to the palimpsests, scholars have learned new words and deepened their understanding of this lost language. Another intriguing discovery was texts in Christian Palestinian Aramaic, a mix of Syriac and Greek. This dialect, spoken by a small Christian community, died out in the 13th century, but was rediscovered centuries later. These writings give a voice to an almost entirely vanished culture, offering a glimpse into the spirituality and art of this community. The Sinai Palimpsests project has become more urgent in recent years, especially with the dangers posed by regional conflicts. Researchers are now sharing these discoveries online, making it easier for scholars to explore the hidden lost writings. These texts, uncovered like treasures from an ancient library, help us reconnect with a past that was nearly lost forever. Library of Alexandria. The Library of Alexandria was once the most famous library of the ancient world, holding a treasure trove of knowledge and wisdom. Established in Egypt during the Ptolemaic dynasty, 323–30 before the Common Era, it became the intellectual hub of its time, attracting scholars from all over the Mediterranean. This remarkable library flourished under the kings of Egypt, especially Ptolemy I, who likely came up with the idea for the library, and his successors, who worked hard to fill it with texts from every corner of the world. Although the legendary Alexander the Great is often linked to the library's creation, Ptolemy VI Soter founded it, and his son, Ptolemy VI Philadelphus, was responsible for building it. Under their reign, the library's collection grew rapidly, with books taken from ships docked in Alexandria's harbor. If a ship had a book on board, it would be seized, copied, and the original returned to the owner, sometimes with a small compensation. This method helped the library acquire rare texts, many of which would otherwise have been lost to history. The Ptolemies were also willing to go to great lengths to obtain famous works. For example, Ptolemy III once convinced Athens to lend him the original plays of Aeschylus, Sophocles, and Euripides. He deposited a large sum of silver as collateral, but never returned the originals. Instead, he sent copies back. Such methods, though questionable, contributed to the library's vast collection of texts, many of which were written in Greek, Egyptian, and other languages. The library's fame spread far and wide, with scholars from all over the Mediterranean coming to study its contents. It was not just a library, it was a center for research and learning, and the Ptolemies prioritized gathering all the world's knowledge. This even led to the creation of a new word, museum, after the library's name, Mouseion, which referred to a temple to the 9 muses, the goddesses of the arts and learning. Sadly, the library's fate is shrouded in mystery. While it may have been partially destroyed by Julius Caesar's fire in 48 BCE, some believe it gradually declined due to a loss of patronage and support. By the time of the Muslim-Arab invasions in the 7th century, much of the library's collection had already vanished. Despite its eventual destruction, the Library of Alexandria remains a symbol of the ancient world's thirst for knowledge, a hidden treasure of wisdom lost to time. Library of Pergamon. The Library of Pergamon was one of the most important libraries of the ancient world, second only to the famous Library of Alexandria. Built in the city of Pergamon, modern-day Turkey, during the reign of King Eumenes II, r. 197–159 before Common Era, this library became a treasure trove of knowledge, attracting scholars from across the ancient world. Pergamon's rulers, part of the Attalid dynasty, were passionate about culture and learning, using their power and wealth to establish a center for intellectual pursuits that would rival Alexandria. Eumenes II, who was deeply devoted to literature, built the library as part of the Grand Temple of Athena on the Acropolis of Pergamon. At its peak, the library held around 200,000 scrolls, mostly written on parchment. Pergamon became so famous for its parchment production that the word derives from pergamenum. The city's parchment became highly sought after, especially after a rivalry grew between the libraries of Pergamon and Alexandria. Both libraries were constantly trying to outdo each other in their collections. and this fierce competition led to scholars hiding their private libraries to avoid having their books taken by either side. Despite this rivalry, the Library of Pergamon continued to grow and attract attention. The library's famous collection included many works in Greek, and it became known for its impressive collection of Homeric epics and the plays of Euripides. The library's building was simple yet efficient, designed to preserve books and make reading easier. The shelves were placed with space for air circulation to prevent mold, and openings led to a colonnade where scholars could read in natural light. When the Attalid kings died out, the Romans took control of Pergamon, and the library continued to be maintained. However, over time, the collection began to fade. Some accounts suggest that Mark Antony gave the library's scrolls to Cleopatra in 43 before the Common Era, which might have been a blow to the Pergamon collection. The library also faced damage from an earthquake in 262 Common Era, and by the time of the Byzantine Empire, the library had likely already lost much of its former glory. The final fate of the Library of Pergamon is unclear, but it likely disappeared by the early Middle Ages. Today, the ruins of the city of Pergamon, including the site of the legendary library, are a United Nations educational, scientific, and cultural organization World Heritage Site, and artifacts from the ancient city can be seen in the Pergamon Museum in Berlin. Though the library itself is lost, its legacy as a center of knowledge and learning continues to captivate us. A reminder of a time when the pursuit of knowledge was a treasure worth protecting. Maya codices. Maya codices are ancient books created by the Maya civilization long before the arrival of the Spanish. These books, written in Maya hieroglyphics on special bark paper, were the work of skilled scribes who often worked under the guidance of powerful gods like the Maize God and the Howler Monkey gods. The codices were named after the cities where they were eventually found, and the Dresden Codex is considered the most important of the few that have survived. The Maya made their paper from the inner bark of a wild fig tree, Ficus cotinifolia, which they called hewn. This type of paper was much stronger and more durable than the papyrus used in other parts of the world, and it made for an excellent surface to write on. The Maya developed this technique around the 5th century, and it became a key part of their cultural and intellectual life. Unfortunately, most of the Maya's written works have been lost, with only a handful of codices surviving today. During the Spanish conquest in the 16th century, many codices held records of Maya's history, beliefs, and rituals. Sadly, many of these books were destroyed by the Spanish. In 1562, a Spanish bishop, Diego de Landa, ordered a mass book burning in Mani, Yucatan. He believed the books contained superstition and lies of the devil and had them burned. The loss devastated the Mayans and marked the beginning of a dark chapter in their written history. Dominican friar Bartolomé de las Casas, who witnessed the destruction, deeply regretted it, as it erased valuable knowledge. What survived were not only the codices, but also inscriptions on stone monuments and stelae. These and painted ceramics offered a glimpse into the Maya's rich intellectual and cultural life. Some of these books, like the Codice Maya de Mexico, were remarkable in their depth. Created around 900 years ago, this codex tracked the movements of the planet Venus, showcasing the Maya's advanced knowledge of astronomy. It's one of only 4 surviving Maya manuscripts that predate European arrival in the Americas. The codex, now on display in the United States for the first time in 50 years, is a stunning reminder of the Maya's lost knowledge. Though much was lost, these surviving codices are like hidden treasures, offering us a rare glimpse into the wisdom and culture of a civilization that thrived long before Columbus. Library of Ashurbanipal. The Royal Library of Ashurbanipal, named after the last great king of the Assyrian Empire, is a treasure trove of ancient knowledge. Located in what is now northern Iraq, it held more than 30,000 clay tablets, making it one of the largest and most important collections from the ancient world. These texts, dating back to the 7th century before Common Era, cover everything from epic tales to scientific knowledge, including the famous Epic of Gilgamesh. British archaeologists Austen Henry Layard and Hormuzd Rassam discovered the library in the 19th century at the ruins of Nineveh, the capital of Assyria. While Layard unearthed tablets from an earlier palace, Rassam found the main library in Ashurbanipal's palace. The tablets were shipped to Europe, but unfortunately they were mixed up and damaged during the journey, making it difficult to reconstruct the library's original contents fully. Ashurbanipal wasn't just a warrior, but a learned king who valued knowledge. He actively sought out texts from Mesopotamia, even ordering scribes to collect important works from cities across the region. His library became a repository of knowledge from Babylonian, Assyrian, and other cultures. It wasn't just about military records or royal decrees. Ashurbanipal's library contained religious texts, medical writings, divination rituals, and even epic poems. His library holds one of the oldest copies of the Epic of Gilgamesh, a cornerstone of world literature. The library also had various other texts, divination texts, astronomical writings, and historical records. Many were written in Akkadian, while others were in Sumerian and other languages. Some of the most fascinating findings were the divination texts, which were important for kings like Ashurbanipal to maintain their power, and medical texts which show how people understood health and the human body in the ancient world. The library was destroyed in 6 to 12 before Common Era, when Nineveh was destroyed by a coalition of armies. The palace was set on fire, and though the flames damaged many of the texts, the heat helped preserve them, turning the clay tablets into baked artifacts that survived for millennia. Today, many surviving tablets are housed in the British Museum, which continues to offer scholars insights into the ancient world. The Royal Library of Ashurbanipal remains one of history's most precious sources of ancient knowledge. It was a hidden library that contained the lost wisdom of the Assyrian Empire and was waiting to be rediscovered. Library of the House of Wisdom, Baghdad, Iraq. The House of Wisdom, or Bait al-Hikmah, was once a legendary center of learning and intellectual exchange in the heart of Baghdad. Founded during the Abbasid Caliphate, it became one of the Islamic Golden Age's most famous libraries and academies. It's said that this place was a treasure trove of ancient knowledge, bringing together scholars worldwide to study and share wisdom. The origins of the House of Wisdom are a bit blurry. Still, it is believed to have been started either as a private collection by Caliph al-Mansur in the 8th century, or as part of a library built by his successor, Caliph Harun al-Rashid. By the time of Caliph al-Mamun's reign in the early 9th century, it became a public academy and library, attracting scholars from various fields like astronomy, mathematics, medicine, and philosophy. Scholars would gather here to study, translate, and discuss ideas. The House of Wisdom's role in the Great Translation movement was unique. This was when scholars translated texts from ancient Greek, Syriac, Persian, and Sanskrit into Arabic, making knowledge from different cultures accessible to the Islamic world. These translations laid the foundation for many scientific breakthroughs in the following centuries. The House of Wisdom wasn't the only place for this work, but it was certainly one of the most well-known centers of translation, housing many translated manuscripts. As a bustling multicultural capital, Baghdad's location helped bring together intellectuals from across the empire. Scholars like al-Kindi and al-Jahiz worked here, contributing to developing new ideas in fields ranging from medicine to astronomy. The library housed rare and precious books, poetry, and scientific texts, making it a storehouse of wisdom for scholars of the time. Sadly, the House of Wisdom's days were numbered. In 1258, the library was destroyed during the Mongol siege of Baghdad. The building and its priceless texts were lost to history, although some knowledge survived through copies made by scholars. The library's destruction was a tragic loss, but it had already contributed immensely to advancing knowledge. Today, the House of Wisdom symbolizes how knowledge from different cultures can come together to create something extraordinary. It's a reminder of a time when the pursuit of learning was celebrated and treasures of lost knowledge were shared for the betterment of society. The Imperial Library of Constantinople. The ruins of Constantinople are a glimpse into a past filled with grandeur and mystery. Among the most famous remnants of this ancient city are the Theodosian walls, built between 408 and 450 Anno Domini. These walls were some of the most formidable defenses of their time. They protected the city through countless battles and sieges, often leaving would-be invaders in awe, unable to break through. Today, parts of these walls are still standing, offering visitors a chance to explore the fortress that once kept Constantinople safe for centuries. Another significant landmark of the city is the Hippodrome, built between 203 and 330 Anno Domini. This massive arena was where chariot races were held, thrilling the crowds in the heart of the Byzantine Empire. Though much of the Hippodrome is gone, visitors can still see remnants like the Egyptian obelisk of Thutmose III and the Serpent Column, which once stood proudly in the center of the racecourse. The Hippodrome was not just a place of entertainment, it also played a role in the history of Constantinople, notably during the Nika riots, a violent uprising that shook the empire to its core. However, among the many treasures of Constantinople, perhaps the most remarkable was its imperial library. Established by Emperor Constantius II around 357 Anno Domini, this library became the last great repository of ancient knowledge, preserving the literary and scientific works of the Greeks and Romans for nearly 1,000 years. It was a hidden treasure trove of scrolls and manuscripts, where scholars worked tirelessly to copy and preserve the ancient texts that might otherwise have been lost to time. This was no ordinary library. It was a lifeline for the ancient world's knowledge, safeguarding it for future generations. The library grew steadily, with emperors like Valens and Julian adding to its collection. It housed Greek and Latin texts, making it a unique crossroads of ancient literature. At its peak, the Imperial Library contained around 100,000 volumes, a staggering amount. It wasn't just a collection of books. It was a place where the knowledge of the ancient world was curated, protected, and passed on. Sadly, like many of the great treasures of Constantinople, the library was not immune to destruction. Fires, wars, and the Fourth Crusade in 1204 damaged the library, and by the time Constantinople fell to the Ottomans in 1453, much of its vast collection had been lost. Yet, the legacy of the Imperial Library lives on, as it is believed to have preserved the classical texts that many of us read today. It was a hidden library filled with lost treasures of knowledge, and its story continues to captivate the imagination of history lovers everywhere. Library of Nalanda University. Before Oxford University was established, Nalanda University in India was already a shining beacon of knowledge. This ancient institution, founded in the 4th century, was more than just a university. It was a center of wisdom that attracted scholars from across Asia. Spread over a vast area in the kingdom of Magadha, modern-day Bihar, Nalanda had everything: monasteries, lecture halls, temples, and a library that was the heart of it all. It was said to house more than 9 million manuscripts, making it a true treasure trove of knowledge. The library, known as Dharma Gunj, Mountain of Truth, was legendary. It was a 9-story building with 3 main sections: Ratnasagara, Sea of Jewels, Ratnodadi, Ocean of Jewels, and Ratnaranjanka. These libraries contain some of the world's most precious texts, including original Upanishads and Sanskrit classics. Scholars came from as far as China, Mongolia, Tibet, and Korea to study a wide range of subjects, from medicine and astronomy to law and philosophy. But this wealth of knowledge didn't go unchallenged. Nalanda faced 3 devastating attacks. The first was in the 5th century by the Hunas, followed by a second attack in the 7th century by the Bengal Empire. But the most brutal came in 1193 Anno Domini when Turkish invader Bakhtiar Khilji attacked Nalanda. His sole goal was to destroy the knowledge that flourished there. He set fire to the libraries, and burning all the precious manuscripts took 3 months. Many monks and scholars lost their lives, and with this destruction, the flow of knowledge from Nalanda ended. The library, once a hidden treasure of wisdom, was lost forever, and the world was poorer for it. The Jaffna Library. The Jaffna Public Library, located in the heart of Jaffna, Sri Lanka, is a place of deep emotional significance for the island's Tamil minority. Built in 1933, this library was once a symbol of the region's rich cultural heritage, housing over 97,000 books and manuscripts. It was one of the largest libraries in Asia and a treasure trove of Tamil literature and historical records. For the people of Jaffna, it was not just a library but a beacon of their identity and pride. Tragically, in 1981, the library was set on fire by a mob, an act of destruction that not only claimed over 1 million books, but also led to the loss of priceless ancient manuscripts. This devastating fire sparked a chain of events that ultimately contributed to the Tamil Tiger insurgency. The loss of such a vast knowledge repository marked a painful chapter in the history of Jaffna and its people. The library was rebuilt in 2001, though its original collection could never be fully restored. Today, while the library holds a much smaller collection, it remains a symbol of resilience and cultural pride for the Tamil community. The library's architecture, A beautiful blend of classical styles has been carefully restored, and visitors can still explore the public areas and enjoy the peaceful gardens surrounding the building. The discovery of this hidden library beneath a medieval monastery is like uncovering a treasure chest of forgotten knowledge. With each ancient manuscript, we glimpse a past that once shaped the world we know today. Who knows what secrets remain buried, waiting to be revealed? This hidden gem reminds us that history often holds its most valuable lessons in places we least expect.